Hello there, my name is Sandi Toksvig and this is my library. I am a writer and a broadcaster, I am a political activist, and I'm also the author of this, which is called Between the Stops, which is kind of a memoir, sort of, but it's also about my journeying on the number 12 bus through the streets of London. So it's about history and what occurs to me as I travel. It's sort of not surprising that there's a book with the name Toksvig on it, because I come from a long line of writers. In fact, the very first book that I've chosen to talk about is The Life of Hans Christian Andersen, and it was written by my great aunt, Sina Toksvig. It's kind of a two for one, because Hans Christian Andersen, I'm Danish, he was a big influence on me in terms of storytelling. And the fact that my great aunt was a writer was a wonderful thing. She was a novelist and a biographer. She wrote in English because she studied in the United States. She graduated, in fact, from Cornell in 1916, and I used to go and visit her. She was married to another writer, Francis Hackett, an Irish writer, and they used to talk about their books as their babies, and the care and attention that they gave to their work made me realise what a labour of love writing is. But the American connection is really important to me because the other book that I have selected is Edith Wharton's False Dawn. Actually, I have a lot of Edith Wharton, and I could have picked any one of them. Now, she's kind of not the person you might think, oh, what an inspirational person. She was born in 1862 to money, which is very nice, in New York City. For reasons I can't fathom, her friends and family used to call her Pussy Jones, which is actually a great porn star name. So, she's not an icon in the sense of someone having pulled themselves up from nothing, but there are many kinds of battle which women in history have had to fight. She began making up stories as soon as she was able, so maybe she was 4 or 5. She was completely uninterested in the dances and fripperies of society life. In fact, she felt constrained by it all and wanted education, but it wasn't really a thing for women then. In fact, her mother forbade her to read novels until she was married, although how a husband lying beside you made reading them any easier, I'll never know. And despite this restriction, she tried to write a novel of her own when she was just 11. Her first work was published when she was 15, but it wasn't thought a proper thing for a woman in her position, so it was published under the name of her friend's father, E.A. Washburn. And that pained me personally when I was young, a woman being forced to hide her talents. I loved her work and the fact that she would go on to become the very first woman to win the Pulitzer Prize for literature. Society had tried to stifle her and not succeeded. And actually, it's a sort of curious thing because I'm spoilt for choice in this room. I didn't really know who to choose, and then I have actually chosen another society woman. But this woman is about the power of words. So this is an original pamphlet from the 18th century. It was written by Theresia Constantia Phillips, and it's a letter humbly addressed to the Right Honourable the Earl of Chesterfield. So she's another one that's a sort of curious choice, you'd think, as an inspiration, but she was an 18th century British courtesan and bigamist, which is, not a combo you hear every day. And she had affairs with several high-powered men who refused to look after her when she was older. So what she did, she self-published several scandalous autobiographies. This one, it says in the front here, printed for the author and sold at her house in White Hart Street, Queen Square. She got her own back through the power of words. And I think that's what I learnt from all of these. The power of storytelling, the power of women standing up for themselves, and just the joy of somebody telling you their story. I love these.